What's up? Welcome to my diary. I'm Tatami, and here I talk about whatever I want to. Today, I wanted to talk about blackfishing, and basically, I could talk this whole time about Lady Kashmir, full name Lady Kashmir outside, but I don't think that that is, the most productive just because everybody else has kind of already been doing that. And the situation is just so much bigger than Lady Kashmir. So I have so many thoughts about this, and a lot of them are historical. Some of them are, based on observation. Some of them are based on, just feelings. But I don't pretend I'm going to be able to solve blackfishing, but I do think that us talking out against it is important, and us explaining it is also important. Us expressing our frustration simply is important. All of it's important because this is behavior that should be shamed. This is behavior that should not be encouraged. You should not have to put me or other people in my community on as a costume in order to find yourself, in order to uplift yourself, in order to get some inner confidence. And further, people in my community should be uplifted for what they do instead of trashed and stolen from, robbed, and then other people getting uplifted for doing the exact same thing that they just literally robbed and stole from us. So, let's start from the beginning. We all know about blackface, blah, 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 blackface. It wasn't just entertainment. It was a way of putting us on as a costume to gain some sort of power. In this case, it was power over what black culture was, right? It's easy. It's so simple. It's so basic. That's all this is. It's comedy. Basically, it was a way of having power over something they didn't understand because everybody's just so confused. We just so backwards. Well, the simple answer is that we're stupid and you understand all of this, and we just these idiots that you can copy all the time and pretend like you understand the rules. There are other disrespectful versions of blackface that have hopped up over the years, even though blackface has been considered pretty unacceptable for a decent amount of time at this point. We've been arguing about it. We still see it happen, right? The Canadian Prime Minister had it, but we also see it here on, YouTube. Somehow Shane Dawson is one of the pillars of YouTube to this day, but his foundation is built on blackface and like a character he called Shanae, where he basically made fun of black women for hours at a time, and that's his foundational fans. Those are the people who his ride or dies are people who think it's funny to put on darker makeup and make fun of black women. But over time, as things have changed, people have realized that mocking us isn't the only way to gain notoriety, to make people think something different about you, to give you kind of power in a situation over another type of people. They've learned that there's, other ways to do these things. So I watch a YouTuber named, her channel is named, should I say, As Told by Kenya. I've been following her for about a year, I think. A little over a year, maybe, year and a half. I remember one of her original videos that I watched was the Gilmore Girls. Isn't that the funniest thing, how you find people? Gilmore Girls review, and I agreed with everything she said. Y'all, Rory did not have a personality. Oh my goodness, when she said it, I was like, anyways, so I agree with most all of Kenya's videos, all of them, except for one. There's only one video where I was like actually like rubbed so the wrong way, where I was like, I'm gonna respond to this person. And not Kenya. It wasn't Kenya. I responded to the celebrity who she called out, who came to her comment section, and that was Miley goddamn Cyrus. Now, Miley was somebody who I was a fan of as a kid. Out of all the Disney Channel stars, I liked Miley the most. I liked that she was a mess. I liked how her voice kind of sounded different than everybody else. She wasn't really trying to sound like everybody else. And I won't say I liked her more than the Cheetah Girls. Those were my girls, but the Cheetah Girls, you couldn't count on them for shit back then, right? It was like, is Raven gonna be there? Is she not gonna be there? Is there gonna be another? Is this the last movie? Everything they gave us was a gift from, the spirit realm. So we were just excited and happy to get what we could get. But Miley was a consistent source. She was one of the consistent sources, so I liked her. I was like, okay, there's that one, that one, that one. I'll go with Miley. You know what I mean? I'll go with Miley. So that's what I did. I went with Miley. And so when she was 18 and I was about 18. I mean, we were about the same age. When we were about that age where we were coming into ourselves, and she came out with Can't Be Tamed, and everybody was like, is this distasteful? I was like, fuck you guys, fuck all you guys. She's coming out here, she's doing something nobody else has been doing for a while. She's not trying to be like weird like all this other stuff. She's just trying to be like fierce and do like expressive artistic. I was here for the animal theme. I was here for the like break her out of her cage and do her fucking damn thing. I was here for all of that weird shit that she was doing around that time. You know what I'm saying? I was here for it. And then she started changing, right? She started changing how she like talked, changing who she hung out with, changing how she dressed, changing what music she made, who she collaborated with. And it all seemed to be leaning in this one direction that I never saw her going in. Like, if Ashley Tisdale, you know, she released that hip-hop album around that time. If she had suddenly started hanging out with a bunch of, like, you know, hip-hop artists and trying to collab with people and do a hip-hop pop album, I would have been less surprised than Miley goddamn Cyrus suddenly walking around in jerseys, smoking weed, trying to wear grills and act like she, you know, knew all these rappers. I was, like, stunned. But I told myself this. I was like, girl, this isn't your thing. But you don't have to like cancel your girl, you know, you just have to wait till she's done with this phase, because, you know, everybody comes out with an album and then they're their new them, and then they come up with their next album and it's the next thing. You can just wait it out and go for the next thing when she goes back to being Miley. Well, I didn't make it that far because I ended up canceling the word wasn't around back then, but that's essentially what I did. I ended up canceling her when she had her damn little thing with Robin goddamn Thicke. And I wasn't mad that she came out there dressed like a chicken cutlet. I wasn't mad that she came out there, you know, acting a damn fool with this stupid song. I was mad that she hired like 3 or 4 taller, broader black women, like way bigger than she is. She's this like little tiny white girl. She hired them to come out there dressed in like leggings, shake their asses, and have her hit them in the ass. Literally hit them. And I mean hit, because okay, we've all slapped an ass. We all like slapping asses. We like to see a jiggle, whatever. She was not hitting an ass like that. There was no rhythm to it. There was no fun to it. It wasn't like you could even see anything jiggle. Like this was cool. She, like, when I look at Miley Cyrus to this day, all I see is her winding up her hand like this, ready to hit this woman on her backside. And I'm like, you paid black women to do that, and there was nothing in your mind that was like, maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe this, maybe that. No. So she managed to totally disrespect me there, and then she went full circle and confirmed my decision when she decided hip-hop is evil. It's teaching the youth bad things. It's teaching the youth bad things. I can't do this no more. I'm going back to country music, where we talk about beating our wives, getting drunk, losing shit, killing each other, abuse, depression, all this other crazy shit. That's all uplifting and wonderful. We're anti-gay. We don't even know if we can handle a song that's like about maybe kissing another girl type of shit. I saw some the other day that was like, it was like there was some kind of controversy because some maybe was a little bit gay, even though it was like gay for not gay for pay. It was like gay for your man type shit, like not actually gay, okay. So like country music has all its own fucking issues, but she felt that she had spent enough time in hip-hop with her 1 year of dalliance to denounce everybody, be like, y'all are toxic, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, go get your whiskey bottle and go. Drive off in your pickup truck. Your dad is cooler than you. Your dad understands hip-hop more than you do, and that is the saddest thing. Billy Ray isn't on my list, but Miley fucking is. Get it out. Okay, so that was the full circle. I learned at that time, this is to be expected, girl. This is something that can happen to you. You can give your money, time, and energy to these people, and they will slap you across your face without even thinking about it and collect their check and go. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to take back all those times you watched her show and stood up for her. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is learn, and next time support somebody who, even if they go off rogue, you can still have love for them. And by that I mean I support black women, mostly black women artists now. As my playlist, Mellow Mamas, that's been my playlist for like years. That's basically what I listen to. That's basically who I listen to. It just is what it is. I don't want to be burned. And if one of them has some self-hate, I got the empathy for their situation to just not care. that they have some self-hate going on and they're making mistakes. I don't cancel Black women. So I learned that this is not something to be surprised as a fan. That's why I wasn't surprised when Ariana did it. Everybody's like, what? How did she go from being like, I'm so awkward, I don't know how to do anything cool. And you could believe she didn't know how to do nothing cool. And then now she's, flipping her hair, all this cool stuff. And it's like, I'm all here for women's confidence. But at the same time, I'm like, like, why do you have to put us on as a costume and darken your skin to get your woman's confidence? You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Why do we have that going on? So, I'm definitely not surprised by Lady Kashmir's decision to jump on the train, right? She's following a long line, right? We've had a whole bunch of people out here who put on different cultures' costumes to give themselves some kind of quantum boost for us. Just a second, just one headline sometimes, often for about a year, like My Lady did a year or two. But sometimes it's just for one headline, sometimes like Taylor Swift. Sometimes it's just for one song. Just really wanted to put that chain on, put my booty shorts on, see what it was like to get on all 4 hands and knees and shake my ass or something and feel like that was something to do with that culture. That's why I dress like that, to do that action. Many have done it. And I was gonna say also, we had our girl Gwen Stefani, right? She used to love to do that with a whole bunch of cultures. I would say like her earlier years, she kind of did it with Black culture, but then she was like, there's a whole world out there. And she was like, hey, India. And India, I'm pretty sure I've heard Indians don't care if you wear a sari. That's good for Indians. We've been abundantly clear that we care. So, you can talk with Indians, figure out their rules. But Black folks have been pretty clear about our rules, okay? Anyway, she then went to Japan and started using Japanese women as accessories. Silent accessories that followed her everywhere. Yeah. So by the time we get to Lady Kashmir, it's like young lady is just doing the rite of passage at this point. She just understands it's just that one headline. It's just that one thing. And if you'll note, just like Ariana Grande suddenly has her confidence now, so that she's dark skinned and wearing certain things and trying out different street fashion and wearing the same one over and over to claim it as her own. So people think that that's her iconic idea and not something we've seen from like Rihanna and Beyonce and a billion women in the 90s. But at any rate, Lady Kashmir was the happiest I had ever seen. That's the most confident I ever seen her in a picture. She was like, eyes narrowed. She was like, pose, bitch, pose. Do you see me with this like weave and this dark skin? She was feeling herself. It was the best she'd ever felt in a picture. You could see. And so it's just like, people keep saying too, now that I'm done saying that, bad, what is her name? We're going to just keep calling her Lady Kashmir. I know that the first name is Bad. Lady Kashmir. We know she's the happiest she's just ever been. She's elated. Some people have tried to be like, oh, it could be mixed, a mixed thing. They want to be mixed. I'm like, honey, they don't want to be mixed. That's just what they can get away with. That's the best that they can do. You can kind of push the limits of tanning at this point and push the limits of what streetwear you wear, or what cultural garbs you wear, or how you do your hair. Try and push those boundaries. Because right, we're talking about habitual line steppers, and so they're coasting that line like, oh, fuck, how can I dolazol this best, right? How can I, is this close enough? Is this too far? And it's like they start getting way too far. Their skin started being way, way darker suddenly in a couple weeks, in a year. Suddenly they're way darker skinned. And so I'm like, no, this isn't about being mixed. Because most mixed people, hello, we're raised black, or if we're raised in white communities, we're raised as the blackest person in the white community. We are the black person in the community. So to me, it's like most mixed people are raised black and consider themselves black, act black. So it's just like, to me, it's blackness that they're copying, but they just think like it's dangerous for them. Like I said, you got to shame this behavior because it's shameful, right, for them to do full blackface, but they can still kind of get away on this end of there's like a spectrum, and so they're trying to like wave their way here in the middle, and the middle is mixed. So they're just trying to be as black as they can without being totally called out for blackface inappropriation, right? So I don't agree with people who are like, they're just trying to be mixed, not black. I'm like, what do you think mixed people been raised by? Who do you think, where do you think we live? Who do you think we hang out with most of the time? So, I'm not saying all mixed people, but I'm saying they're not trying to be mixed. They're not trying to be part something, part the other thing. The blackness is what they're after. That we're donning the blackness as a costume for their own source of power is what they're after. And the sad thing about that is that it makes us question each other, doesn't it? It makes us question who's really black. And in fact, it affected me. It impacted me. I realized the other day, I ran into somebody online. Who the hell was it? He used to go by De La Ghetto, but he don't go by that no mo. Timothy De La Ghetto, but I don't know his actual name. I seen him on Wild and Out and stuff, and I happened to just be I don't know why he was in my recommended. I ain't looked for him. I ain't checked for him. And he had his wife in the picture, and I was thinking, like, did he marry a half black girl? And I was like, is she even half black? Am I just putting this on somebody trying to do all this blah blah blah? Anyways, long story short, I looked it up. She's like half. She's what I am. That's the joke. That's what's hella funny. Is I'm here like, what is she? And she's literally what I am. She's half like Eritrean, which I'm not Eritrean. I'm West African. But and half Salvadoran, which I am. So I was like, damn, like, yeah, that's really got us, like, we got to check on each other sometimes, because it's like, you don't even know. And it's not to say I had to check on her. I was just saying this is an example of we start questioning each other in random situations. Light-skinned people start getting questioned because, and it's not fair, it's not right, but it's like we're just trying to protect what little we have. You guys are just so eager to steal it, infuse it into your culture, and act like it came out of nowhere, or steal it, capitalize on it, monetize on it, and act like you came up with this idea. And that's what's really sad. It's sad. Why is your coming to age blackness? Why is your coming to age donning blackness as a costume? Why is that the way you feel you can gain confidence, notoriety? What is your culture? Where can you start doing something and contributing to any of this? It's just, and it's sad because it's built all on black stereotypes. It's built all on what you think blackness is, but you've never actually put in the time or effort to understand what blackness is. So therefore, you're just riding on stereotypes in your mind. I put on a puff jacket. It's streetwear. But you never fucking pay the person who got up with the puff jacket. But you never fucking call out who you first saw wearing a puff jacket that made you want to wear a puff jacket. Where did this style come from? You don't pay those people. You don't hire those people to dress you. You hire all these other people who also have stereotypes of what blackness is. You wear this baggy shirt and these baggy pants, and that's your style now. And oh, we're all supposed to just like accept that that's your style now. And you don't give props to other people about it. And in fact, you talk, about us like we're less than, like you somehow got up with all this shit. And it's like, you didn't get up with this. You didn't get up with this, and you're not supporting the people who did. So why am I supposed to be applauding you? What am I applauding? What do you have? What are you offering? I don't understand it. So, I have some notes here, y'all. So I'm just trying to make sure I stay on track. So, and the other one I wanted to note was like the super long nails. You remember in the 90s, people getting talk shit on that. There's so many stereotypes against it, but it's like now it's super normalized. You can't be an Instagram baddie without having the long ass nails that I distinctly remember people in my family and other people I knew being mocked for wearing. You know what I mean? And then Kim K got credited with wearing the charms and the little hoops pierced onto her nails. And I'm like, y'all, why do you guys do this? Why do you do this? Why do you don it for a costume and then take full credit like you made this up? You really can't just open your mouth for 10 seconds and be like, oh no, this idea is inspired by this person. Like Kim K could easily just be like, yeah, in 2006 I hired a paparazzi to follow Rihanna around and make a lookbook, and that's basically what I've been wearing ever since. She could be honest, but she wasn't. She just let them think that she was just this creative baddie leading the trend on pierced ass nails. Like, get the fuck out of here. And like all we can do is call this out, right? Because it's not like we can just start stealing their shit and doing stuff. It's not like we can do our stuff, because it's like they do our stuff and they're a baddie, they're intelligent, they're making shit up, blah, blah, blah. We do our stuff and it's like, why is she trying to get so much attention with her body, with her attitude? Why is she wearing these bright ass colors? Why is she doing that? Where's her real hair? Why is she acting like this? Why are black girls so loud and always trying to be the center of attention? we can't do anything back but call it out. This is hello, hi, welcome to the internet. This is what I'm doing. This is all I can do is talk here on the internet. Write my think pieces, write a post on a social media, try and talk to someone, get some retweets. All I can do is document it happening, call it out, and shame you. And so that's what I'm doing. That's absolutely what I'm doing. But it does suck that there's really kind of nothing else that I can do. There's this book I was reading for my other channel that was called, right here. I'm like about to like talk about it like it's not right here. This is Conjure by Ishmael Reed. And you know, he was talking about this, right? He was talking about neo-hoodoo. He was talking about, in this book, he has something called the Neo-Hoodoo Manifesto. And he talks about that, about, you know, that infusion. And so it goes to show that they want to feel like they're a part of it, but they don't want to actually have to really contribute to it, right? They want to be able to go to our dances, take our rhythm, go to their little honky tonk, start doing their little, you know, rhythm thing. Will make up their own, you know, exactly the same type of party except just with them. And then they want to pretend like they got up with all this behavior and act like it's their thing. But they're not creating anything. They're robbing somebody. But then they want credit. They want you to be so impressed. And it's like, but you come into this culture and then you're taking. You're never actually contributing. It's rare. It's very rare for them to actually contribute. And that's why I'm saying it's not impossible, right? We have somebody like Nujabes who came into hip hop culture and he actually contributed to it, which is why we still recommend him, play his stuff, remix his stuff, encourage next generations to listen to his stuff. Why? Because he was a Japanese man who understood hip-hop culture, respected it, added to it, actually contributed something with skill to it. But often what they do is they just come in, copy us, and then it's like we're supposed to be cheering that on, and if we don't cheer it on, we're just a hater who's always talking about race, always talking about racism. And it's like, no, I'm not going to clap for you for not doing anything. You haven't done anything. You're not. What have you given me? You taken, and then you expect me to be grateful. I'm not. I'm not grateful, and I'm not impressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to clap for you because your new you is me. I'm not impressed. You know what I'm saying? It's just not it. It is what it is. You know, it's those stereotypes of my attitude is giving you strength. I'm not impressed. But okay, put that on as and then what? And then they finally feel something in themselves. They feel like, oh, I am a baddie underneath all this myself in my own way. And then they take out the lip injections, Kylie. They start taking off, you know, how tan they really are. They start loosening it up. And then they're a beautiful butterfly. Their community is like, look how far you've come. You're just amazing, blah, blah, blah. Because they stepped right back into the whiteness when they were done using us for all we were worth, for their own form of self-therapy, self-boost, self-power, you know what I'm saying, energy boost. And we're supposed to be impressed by this. It's like, no, I'm not impressed that you put me on as a costume so that you could have that one night of power and then now you're ready to be you again and you can and everybody's calling you a lady now. I'm not impressed. So it's like, you know, the thing is Lady Kashmir isn't the last. She isn't the last one we're going to see. But, I mean, it's not something that we need to encourage. Because they're just doing this to add some spice to their male life, a little chipotle to their male life. And that's nothing to encourage or be proud of. You can add spice to your male life without stealing from us. And so I did want to get into this. Next part is going to sound weird. But this does, in many ways, reflect on a wider culture of the white supremacist culture structure that I think was excellently described in a book called The Delectable Negro by Vincent Woodard. And in it, this brother talks about the act of physical consumption, eating black bodies, the act of collecting black body parts as they did in lynching, and the act of consuming our spiritual energy, consuming our fear. He also went into the homoerotic nature of white supremacy and all that side stuff. So it's a very interesting book, The Delectable Negro. That brother did pass away. I think you can find his book online for free. I used to be able to, but I would encourage you to purchase it if you can and support his family. They lost, he lost him very early. I don't think he even made 30. But he has a wonderful, wonderful text there that does discuss, you know, Nat Turner's body not only being distributed, but how they made a rumor about it being put into some kind of food item that would be distributed out to people. And obviously, like I mentioned, the lynching, having body parts, collecting body parts for magic, for power, perceived power that it would give you. So this is nothing new. That the dawning of us as a costume is nothing new, but also the consumption of us for their own energy and strength is nothing new. There's somebody out there who has a white great grandparent, guaranteed, who in their attic has a body part of a black person from that era. Because enough people took them home. It was well documented enough that indeed somewhere in the South, most likely, somebody somewhere locked up, you may not even be able to recognize what that thing is anymore, maybe in a jar or something, maybe in a little bag, but guaranteed somebody out there still has one. There's just no way. It's been too recent. And so I don't want us to be scared by saying that, but I do want to say it's a very much heavily rooted into the culture of white supremacy, and it's not something always white people participate in. That's what happens when the whole culture is white supremacy, when the whole system is white supremacy, is people don't even realize that they're contributing to things, or they think what they're doing is some kind of own personal choice, but really it's what they've been trained to do this whole time. It's what they've been trained to see as acceptable. When you see a black person out on the street wearing that, that's mine's now. When you see them out here doing, you know, their thing on, you know, building something, painting something a certain way, music a certain way, that's everybody's. That's American culture now. That's mine's now. What is that? Who's the comedian who has that joke about white girls who gentrified like Brooklyn or something, and they're like, Brooklyn's mine's now? That's what I'm talking about when I say that. That's exactly how they act. That's mine's now. Oh, you wearing that? You look like that? You getting that kind of attention for that? That's mine's now. And that's the attitude prevalent behind white supremacy. I mean, also besides, you know, their chronic fear of their own DNA with white genocide. But I did want to address that. I did want to address the consumption of black bodies with the dawning of blackness as a characteristic. You know, it could just be one or two things that you're doing, and then it could be the whole look. But it is something that's very prevalent, and it's something that they've just been teaching each other for many, many generations at this point, almost to the point where it's a rite of passage. It's normal. You want to change yourself? Here's how you change yourself. Here's how you do it. Until you find yourself and you realize, like, oh, this is what I want, and this is actually way better than what they ever gave me. They never say thank you, do they? They never have a kind word to say once they've used us to fuck up. They all do the exact same thing as Miley, and they're like, basically, fuck you, your shit is trash, everything you gave me, I spit on it, my shit has always been better, my people have always been better. That's how they leave us every time. And it's like, we gotta stop inviting them in the first place, condoning that shit, condoning collaborations with those types of people just because we like our people and we want to help them. Stop condoning these collaborations, stop condoning this behavior, don't invite these people to the cookout, just stop, because they are never grateful when it's said and done. All right, so I think we're done here. I think I said what I had to say about this subject. I'm so glad that I got through this and I actually said it all, and I didn't even pause, y'all. My family, where's my family? Where is everybody? It's like, where are my kids? Where's my husband? What's going on? Nobody bothered me this whole video, and we're hitting on 29 minutes. God damn. Anyways, thank you so much for showing up. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads, and I'll see you next video.